Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Firyal Imtinan Sya'ban and my student number is A320190292 and I'm from H class. And today I'm going to criticizing famous critics movie critical review. And here we are. Raya and the Last Dragon by Roger Ebert. And before we're going to the critical, so we should know who was Roger Ebert. Who was Roger Ebert? Roger Ebert was an American film critic. His career began in 1966. Writer for the Chicago Sun-Times Sunday magazine in 1975, he became the first film critic to win a Pulitzer Prize. At the same time, Ebert teamed up with fellow movie critic Gene Siskel on a television show where they debated the quality of the latest films. The show proved a hit, and Siskel, thus Ebert, became household name. They were together until when Siskel passed away. Ebert died on April 4th, 2013 at the age of 70 in a Chicago Lyonnais. And this is the critical review by Roger Ebert blog about Raya and the Last Dragon. Raya and the Last Dragon is Disney's movie and available this week in a limited theatrical release and on Disney Plus for an extra fee. It's a wonderful adventure, blending imaginary and mythology from several South Asian culture into its own vision. It's an ambitious family film that will work for all ages, and one that never talks down to its audience while presenting them with an entertaining, thought-provoking story. It also contains some of the most striking imagery Disney has ever produced, dropping its character in a world that feels both classic and new at the very same time. Raya has long heard the stories of the Last Dragon from her father, Benja, as the villainous force was working its way across the land, turning people into stone. Magical dragon united their force together into a stone, and one named Sisu, magical dragon named Sisu, used it to stop the pending apocalypse. She sacrificed herself in the process. Although rumors persist that she survived, that stone resides with Benja and Raya's people when the film begins. But the other clans of the now defeated world steal it and break it into pieces and scatter it across the land. So, years later, Raya goes on a quest to find both Sisu and fragments of the stone, trying to bring her people back together and fulfill her father's vision of loyalty. Along the way, they are cast by the princess of a clan seeking full power named Namari, and encounter several memorable supporting characters, including the gregarious Ban, One-Eye Tong, and even a corn baby, a kid who used her undeniable cuteness as an alley con artist. All of these lively characters were impacted by the stone's fragmentation fragmentation, and they form an unforgettable care in what is basically an old-fashioned adventure movie that recalls everything from Indiana Jones to Princess Mononoke. Directors Don Hall from Brick Hero 6 and Carlos Lopez Estrada Blinding Spotting imbue every design element of Raya and the Last Dragon with top-notch craftsmanship. Each of the lands that Raya and her compatriots travel to feel like fully realized world. Look at the street in which Raya meets the baby and her monkey in crime. They are filled with bustling life and background detail that many movies like this simply ignore. And then there's the character design, which is much more carefully considered than most modern blockbuster animation. Particularly the gorgeous look of Shishu and her fellow dragon. Yes, she bear a strong resemblance to dragons we've seen in Asian cinema before. It's hard not to think of Spirited Away when she takes her own form of light, but she ultimately stands on her own, thanks in the part to to how her design melts with Aquafina's fantastic voice work. She's expensive without being overly cartoonish. All of Raya has that going for it, a brilliant color palette and remarkable level of detail that never passes too far into fantastic element, achieving the perfect balances. The balance in is maintained because screenwriters Quinn Nguyen and Adai Lim don't get lost in their new animated playground, and never forget the story's emotional stakes. Raya isn't just trying to bring her father back to life. She's trying to reunite the, the world. It's a smart film about one of the big themes of our current age, a quest for unity. The social and political reading of the movie will plentiful because it's about trying to find common ground and cause again after betrayals and division. One of many things I love about this movie is how much it challenges the traditional superficiality of a blockbuster animation, knowing that kids can handle more complex plot and themes than Hollywood usually give them. One can enjoy Raya purely on an adventure movie level, but it will also likely start a few interesting conversation with children about trust, forgiveness, and courage. Is fear a result of distrust or the chaos of it? Are we divided because we are enemies or because we are told we are enemies? This is a rare criticism of studio animation, but Raya and the Last Dragon can sometimes be almost too dense with them. In particular, the film's last half hour has a habit of spelling out the idea through dialogue more than it really needs to. The characters and storytelling are very long, but I sometimes wish Raya would allow for more quiet development than the breakneck passing chosen by Hall and Estrada. It has a habit of over-explaining itself when its imaginary and narrative get the job done on the own. The voice work is stellar throughout. Tran finds just the right mix of vulnerability and strength in Raya and Aquafina. Locks into a register of optimistic wonder that's infectious. The whole ensembles bring their a game Kim grounds a father-daughter dynamic with just a few seconds. A few cents. A few cents. Wong is so fun that he could anchor a spin-off uh about his character. And Chan sell the complex arc of a young woman forced by her a mother to act against her own belief. All of them are also ably supported by one of James Newton Howard's best scores. So we begin to the critical review side. In my opinion, there were four aspects for the measurement. The first one is the scope and the content. In my opinion, both of aspects are fully filled nicely, but in my opinion, it has too much spoilers. The proof is in the sixth slide, which is explain how Raya and all of her partners met. And the second one, the grammatical correctness. I think this review has passed it and it's more than enough. And the third one, the organization and the story development. So in my point of view, in this aspect, the critical review is sufficient because the development was good, but it was too much and a little bit hard to understand. The language style, their language style was informal, and which is good for me because it's simply like we got review from our friends. So I think that's all. Thank you for your attention, for who have watched this video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.